So, boys, I stay tuned. There's a gewaldige podcast. Rabbi Steve Geller does a gewaldige Zach, and that'll be coming out this week. Torah Giants on Chumash. Shalom Uvrach, and welcome to the weekly piece on the Parsha from Torah Giants on Chumash, written by Rabbi Rabbi Goodman, the Rabbi Emeritus of Youngers Rockaway. Sit back and enjoy.
Welcome to Torah Giants on Chumash. I'm Steve Geller. When you get right down to it, a Jew's mission in this life is our endeavor to live an elevated life of Kedusha. Holiness is defined by the Torah, but at the same time, the Torah that Hashem gave us is the zenith of holiness in this world. And within it is the guide for us to achieve Kedusha within ourselves. But as hard as it is to believe, everything created in this world can be used by mankind for good or bad. This very sobering reality plays itself out in our Parsha. The Pasuk in our Parsha says, "They gathered together against Moshe and Aaron, and they said to them, 'It is too much for you. For the entire assembly, all of them are holy, and Hashem is among them. Why exalt yourselves over the congregation of Hashem?'" According to the Pasuk, Korach's statement was that the entire Kahal, all of them are holy, and Hashem is among us. Chazal and Rashi explain Korach's statement to mean that they all stood at Har Sinai and heard the words of Hashem. Was there some problem with the Pasuk as stated? The Binyan Ariel suggests a solution. The repetition of all is fairly common in Tanakh as well as in our davening. A good example, on Rosh Hashanah, we make the request of Hashem, Maloch kol ha'olam kulo, rule upon all of the world, all of it. The Taz explains that in Jewish law, all can mean most because of the halachic rule that the majority is equivalent to the whole, rubo kukulo. The double phrase, kol ha'eda kulo kadoshim, indicates all in the sense of 100%. Hence, in this verse, Korach claimed that every single Jew was holy. What bothered Chazal was how could he make such an all-inclusive claim? It's nearly impossible to imagine such a statement is true for hundreds of thousands of people without there being at least one exception. Therefore, Chazal wrote that Korach was alluding to that great moment when all of Israel stood with no exceptions as one to hear and accept the Torah from our Creator. At that pinnacle of national unity, when Bnei Israel achieved K'ish Echav B'Lev Echad, likewise a double lashon of Echad, meaning 100%, Korach was right. In that moment, all of Bnei Israel were holy. According to the Binyan Ariel, Korach's mistake was not realizing that that level of holiness had to be maintained. This can be seen in Rabbi Goodman's comments made by his Rav Yosef Dov Soloveitchik. In Moshe's response to Korach, he states, "It shall be that the man whom Hashem chooses, he is the Holy One." Exactly what is this argument about? Does Moshe deny the sanctity of the people? Rav Soloveitchik analyzed a comment in Rashi on Chumash Devarim to explain this debate. In Parshas Re'eh, we read, "For you are a holy people to your God, and God chose you to be his chosen people." Rashi highlights the "and," which indicates that there are two concepts in this pasuk by explaining your personal sanctity from your ancestors, and God has chosen you. What is he trying to say? Obviously, the concept is that every Jew has two manifestations of sanctity. All of us have the inherited sanctity of being members of Bnei Israel, as Hashem states so many times in the Torah, but Hashem has also chosen you. This implies, and is a common theme in HaRav Feiner Shiurim, that each person must respond to his chosen status and develop himself spiritually to attain his own maximum sanctity. This is the additional personal sanctity which differentiates one Jew from another. Thus, while Korach correctly stated that the congregation is holy, Moshe was also correct when he said to Korach, "The man whom Hashem chooses, he is the Holy One." On the topic of holiness, we have possibly the world's foremost example, our very own holy HaRav Eytan Feiner.
Shalom Avracha, Ganem Shabbos to all the incredible listeners to this fantastic Shiur podcast by the Heilige Reb Steve. So you heard the piece, Rav Shol of Amsterdam, the Binyan Ariel, a beautiful diak where Rashi, where Chazal were coming from, and you heard the diak of the Taz that since in halacha, we know that rubo kekulo, so therefore we need the double repetition over here. If it says kol eda kulam kedoshim, that indicates that it wasn't simply relying on the majority, even the supermajority, kol and kulo. The superfluous mention is clearly here emphatically to be madgish, to emphasize that everybody, without a single exception. That's why in the Shabbos Miras, when we talk in Yom Shabbosin, ovo chulam bivros yachad, where Did we have everybody in Klal Yisrael without there being even a single exception? Where did we have everybody in unison? Kol ha'eda kulam kedoshim. Where was that as we stood collectively at the Piedmont of Sinai? Something that we allude to in the Zmiris. Yom Shabbos and Shabbos day. Yavo chulam bivris yachad. Anaseh v'nishu amru ki echad. It was all when we stood. Baruch Hanosam Yavkoch. We stood together. And we answered Echad all together. And was everybody without exception, everybody was holy. Yes, everybody heard the Torah on their own level, as the Shem Yishmael points out, that Anochi v'lo yechem epia gevura shamon, and why only Hashem, the ultimate Gibor, could go in and give the Torah to everyone and according to his level. But everybody attained simultaneously a level of holiness. That's indicated by the Kol Eida Kulam Kadosh, and therefore must be a remes to none other than when we stood at Matan Torah. That was the momentous rendezvous with the divine, with the Shekhinah, as HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachol gave us the Torah. So we see that what? We see it, yes, a number of times in Tanakh. And as the Torah Tamima points out, or Baruch Epstein in his wonderful work, Baruch Shamar on Tfilas Hashanah, oftentimes the indication is clear based on the context, whether Kol means everything, whether Kol means the majority, and cases where it's not clear, we have to go out of our way and we have to make it clear. So the Torah Tamima says that's why in davening sometimes we'll see also the identical terminology of Kol and Kulo. Like we even say Kol HaTorah Kula. What's that? Without exception. Kol HaTorah Kula is emes. Everything. And not even one exception. Not even a supermajority. And that's exactly what Korach wanted to emphasize as well. I don't want you to think I'm referring to, not a single exception. Kol HaEda Kula. Everybody. And that only transpired one and only one time. As we stood on Mount Torah, we said Nasa Nishma Amru Ke'echad. As Yehuda Greenspan points out, had one person piped up and said, Esev Ashma. Not everybody would have necessarily followed, right? 2 Jews on an island, 3 shuls. The one you don't daven in, 1 yid pops up, Eseh. No, it was a miracle in and of itself that everybody responded in unison. Na'aseh v'nishma lashon rabim. Amru ki echad faschu v'yanu Hashem echad zolam and achtas isha chabalei v'charabaisai. Here we are getting ready for the summer, getting ready for the 3 weeks. Hopefully it's going to be a Fleishik Tishbav with Mashiach Tzidkenu by the Binyan Baya Shlishi. How are we going to get there? Achtas. It's got to be what? Kais all together. Ke'isha chad b'leiva chad ka'yechem ba'oretz. Let's daven that it can be Kol Am Yisrael Kulo together, finally holding hands and dancing. And Hashem celebrating to Hasenu HaKadosha, being Mesakin the Chet of Korach Numu Machlaikes. Achtas. And we'll see you in the Beis HaMikdash this Fleishik Tishba Beis Hashem Yisrael. Have a great show.
Holiness is manifested in this world by our close and personal loving relationship with Hashem, and how that relationship manifests in our daily lives. I have to say that not only is our holy HaRav Feiner a walking, talking Sefer Torah, but more than even that, his every movement through the world, his every expression when he speaks, is the very embodiment of Kedusha. It's humbling that the Rav shares his precious time with us, and we are forever grateful. And that is just another reason why you should like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and most importantly, hit the share button and copy the link and send it in texts, email, or your social media of choice. Again, it takes mere moments, but it's the mitzvah of Talmud Torah, and everyone will be grateful you did it. Not to mention, you will be helping realize the potential of Rabbi Goodman's life's work and gift to us, Torah Giants on Chumash. It's very interesting that the double lashon of all means everyone, except the double lashon of everyone means one. When we're all, when everyone is everyone,
that's beautiful.
Then
it's only one, and that's exactly the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants it. That's why what created the Zohar Nachrim Asayin Gimel and Aleph, Kudsha Bruchu v'Yisrael v'Raisa Chadu. It's all one. It's all one. It's a sense of oneness. That's what the Maharal explains. If you weren't together as one, people think, oh, we got to, I might not say it was a nice Zaitik Amayla, a side benefit. And in Yan Seguli, it was a prerequisite. I'm not giving you the Torah. The whole Indian is, Hashem says, I want Achdas. V'hayu l'basar echad. When there's a marriage, hayu l'basar echad. I want Achdas. And why did Hashem make Adam and Chava an androgynous being? Because their deal is to be hayu l'basar echad, one being physically and spiritually. I then broke them into two in the Tachlis to get back. Hashem says, you're a chelak but I want to bring you back to me. How? Ayadei the Torah. Kudsha Brucha v'Yisrael Only with the Torah can you become a Chan Mamish. But I'm only going to make you Chan Mamish Ayidei the Torah if you're together as one. If you're not together, if there's a single exception, then you can't merge because Hashem is Echad Yachid Yuchad. You want to join together with Echad Yachid Yuchad, and the Torah is going to be the glue to cement that relationship. Then you have to be Echad. You have to be Mamish together as one, not as a Rabbin, Mamish as one.
And remember, that's why Dayenu, if he ever just brought us to the mountain, but not giving us the Torah.
That's of course Dayenu, just for that Ma'alat Safa would have been enough. Mask. Beautiful.